It does take a few hours to convert. If you want to just remind me tomorrow to send you a copy of it, I can email you a copy of it tomorrow. Unless it's too long, I'll have to Skype it or something like that. Or you can wait, and I will post it on YouTube sometime tomorrow, and you guys can access it that way as well. If you have any questions, all you got to do is say your name and ask the question. Please refrain from giving me a long story behind the question. Just ask me the question first, and then if I need to ask additional information on the question, I can do that. Does anybody have a bid they want to work on today, or a question about a bid or a proposal?
Did you get my email I sent you today, John? Michael from tgifrentals.com.
C-H-A-E-L?
M-I-C-H-A-E-L at T as in Thomas, G-I-F. It's going down. TGIF Rentals.
There it is.
I sent you that proposal today. We're going to try to work on this bid over here. I know it's a little complex, the bid, and I had some questions to ask you on it.
Sure. Let's start with whatever questions you have.
All right. This bid over here, we're opening it up. Additional info, DLA. It looks like troops support. That's what we're going to open it up, correct?
Yes.
Yes, we opened it up over there. The couple of questions we had, it's pretty cut and dry. We have to open the little solicitation up over there on the left-hand side. Is that correct?
You would open it right here as the actual document.
Yep, that's what we opened it.
Under status, it says this solicitation is no longer available. Oh, okay, they had it listed in, and let's say it's no longer available. Yeah, it's been removed. If there's a replacement solicitation for this requirement, please contact the buyer if you have any questions. Yeah, so all you can do on this one is contact the buyer to see if there's something they still want to do. You can go back to f.b.o. It's not listed there.
I had a buyer somewhere in here. Contacted via email, you're saying, isn't better off?
Yes, yes. Try email first. If you don't hear back from them within a day or so, then you can reach out to them by phone.
And this puts a solicitation number there so we know which one we're calling about, and that's it, right?
Yeah, anytime you send an email to a purchasing agent, you want to do it exactly like this. You want to, number one, get rid of everything. Don't have any links. Don't have any, nothing really. All you want is your name and your phone number.
That's it, okay.
That's it. You can have a disclaimer at the bottom, but if you put your website in here,
so we don't have a government site yet. You guys are working on it, so keep it out right now, the site?
I'm saying that when you're communicating with a purchasing agent and you're just asking them a question or you're submitting your bid, don't have that information on here because they don't need it. And when you put your website, see how it turns into a hot link? That can get your email blocked. So if you're just communicating with a purchasing agent, all you have to have is your name and your phone number. Don't even put your email because they're going to know your email. It's going to come from your email address.
Exactly. Now, I want to ask you a question, too. This buy is fast pay. What does that actually mean in the future so I know what that means?
Fast pay means that they have plans on paying you within a certain number of days. Fast pay means they have the intent on paying you within a certain number of days.
Totally understand that. I think I did have his email somewhere on the sheet over here. I had it.
Probably. When you're submitting the email, this is how you want to send it. You want to copy this right here in the solicitation number.
Okay.
Paste that back into your email. Take the solicitation number first. Put that in the subject line.
Subject line, okay.
And then the description goes in the subject line. Regarding, and of course you put their email in, and then you just put your question, real short, sweet, to the point.
That's pretty cut and dry. It's pretty simple then.
Yep. But if you do your subject line just like this, the likelihood of your email getting blocked is way low, especially if there's no attachments. You can do a read request and a delivery request. And if you ever have a problem getting your email to go through to a purchasing agent, go to my LinkedIn and go to my articles, and you'll see one of them in here that shows a can of spam. It's about halfway down, right here. If you ever have a problem getting your email to go through to a purchasing agent, read this article or watch the video, because it discusses exactly that. People whose emails were not received, period. You know, you spend hours putting a bid together and then email it and find out later you didn't win it because they never got your email. That can be a huge pain.
No, exactly.
Major
I agree,
frustration.
totally. So I'm going to work on that email now, and I'll let you get started with the other stuff there.
Got it. Got it. Anybody else have a question or bid or proposal they want to work on today?
John, I have a quick question.
Yes.
This is Joe Garrido. You were talking about fast pay.
Yes.
When they mean by they pay in a few days, is that less than like a net 60 or a net 30?
No, fast pay is usually quicker than that, because right now, back in 2012, the government passed, I think it was 2012, they passed the Expedient Payment Act. So if you're a small business, and it's a small business set aside, most of those, they have to pay you within 15 to 30 days. Or if it's their fault, they have to pay you interest on your money. So most small business set-asides, you'll be paid within 15 to 30 days. And that's why I suggest when you do your discount terms, never give them a discount past 10, 15 days, because they have to pay you within 15 to 30 days anyway.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a bid or proposal they want to work on today, or does anybody have any questions? Anyone? Anyone else have a question or a bid or proposal they want to work on today?
Hello, John. This is Andrew.
Yes.
Oh, I was just calling. I was just asking. Do you have a list of all the websites we're going to be using? I got f.b.o, f.p.d.s. I use the SBA submit to look for subcontract opportunities. I was wondering, is there any more primary websites I could kind of brush up on and learn?
You've got all the websites that I discuss in my training videos are right here.
Okay.
So all the websites I discuss in my training videos are here: FPDS, f.b.o, Binks, the SBA subcontracting directory, and Subnet. I can send you guys that.
Now the Binks one, I don't believe I went to that website.
Binks is used primarily for when you want to contact a prime vendor and reach out to them to do sub work for them. Binks is the best database to go to find the name and phone number of that prime vendor.
Okay, then that's to find someone to do the sub work. Or
Now
that's
that
the
would be
one
if you want to get sub work. You want a prime vendor to call you and hire you, or you want to reach out to a prime vendor to introduce yourself for them to hire you. You can pull up their DUNS number in Binks and get a name and a phone number.
Okay. Is there any kind of way we can kind of put our information up there so, they could, do they ever look for people to sub to work out to, and we have our information up there for them to contact?
I think we lost him.
He'll come back.
The Binks, the system you want to add yourself to in order to be found as a subcontractor is on the email that I just sent you. That's through SBA's website. That's through Subnet.
Okay. I have everyone except the Binks. I have.
This is actually the new Binks link right here. It's called cage.dla.mil. It's no longer called Binks. So I'll send you that, the acronyms list, etc.
Okay, I believe I have the acronyms list. Oh yeah, speaking of that, is there any list that shows like that elevator pitch or like the example of an elevator pitch?
You can go to Google and search for sample elevator pitches, and there's thousands of them out there. But the main thing with your elevator pitch is don't follow the basic rule that an elevator pitch should be 2 minutes. I mean, I don't believe in that, and it's never been. This is how I typically handle elevator pitches. We can go to Google and search them.
Okay.
Go to images. And there's some images people have where they've written them. But here's the thing about your elevator pitch. Your main part of your elevator pitch should be about 15, 20 seconds. So you're calling to introduce yourself and your company. You're going to tell them what product or services you provide. You're going to let them know what set-asides you do if you're woman, minority, veteran, 8A, hub zone, small business, etc. And you're going to give them maybe 1 or 2 quick examples of what makes you better than the next guy? What makes you different? What makes you stand out from the crowd? And that you should all fit that in within 15 to 20 seconds. And then you ask them, what can I do to earn your business? And don't say a word. Let them talk. The reason why my opinion is the elevator pitch should be 15, 20 seconds, 25 seconds to the most is because, number one, you need to run the numbers. To make that process work, you need to get in front of as many people as possible. And of course, if your elevator pitch is shorter, you're going to be able to make more of them. You want to force people to think, and you don't want to just call them up and start talking. When someone calls me and they just start talking and they drone on for a minute or two, if they don't catch me in the first 15, 20 seconds, I'm not listening anyway. So, you need to get their attention right off the bat. And then by asking them a question, by saying, what can I do to earn your business? People don't like to sound stupid. They like to sound intelligent. By asking them that question, in order to give you a good answer, a good reply, they have to think about what you said so that they sound intelligent when they reply. And if they think about it, they're more apt to remember it. So keep your elevator pitch 15, 20, 25 seconds the most. Send me a copy of it. I'll look it over, let you know my opinion on it. Always talk about yourself in your elevator pitch as we and us. Never talk about I and me because it makes it sound like you're a one-man show versus we and us makes it sound like you have a team. I'm not telling you to lie to the government. If they ever ask you how many employees you have and you only have one, then you say you only have one. But there's, always talk about yourself in third person because it makes you sound bigger than you are. All right?
It'll be more so like, what can we do to earn your business?
One more time?
I would say, what can we do to earn your business instead of I?
Exactly. Yep, exactly. So, yeah, and just send me a copy of anything you do. You can always send me a copy of it before you do it or submit it or whatever, and I can look it over for you. All right?
Okay. I was working on one last night, but I realized there was going to have to be a pause in there between the sentence to allow them to, ask me a question or answer a question.
Right.
Yeah, so I was kind of working on the elevator pitch last night.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it.
No problem. Anybody else have a bid they want to work on, or does anybody have a question about a bid or solicitation or proposal?
So, John, what you're always saying on any email you send the government is keep it very short and to the point, just your name and your phone number on that on your contact on the bottom, correct?
Yeah, unless they're asking you to submit certain documentation, whenever I communicate with the government, I send them. I don't even have my email on there. And the reason why I say that is because I've seen people whose emails got blocked. This article on LinkedIn is a prime example. One of the clients said she submitted a bid and didn't win it, and then she did what's called a debriefing to find out why she didn't win it, and the government said, well, we never got your bid to begin with. And she asked the government why, and they said, well, we don't know. It's not our problem. It's your problem. You got to make sure we get it, and they're right. It's not their fault that they don't get it. We got to do everything in our power to make sure they get it. And that's basically what this article is about, is doing your emails in a form that it gives you the best chances. There's no 100% fail-proof way to make sure they always get your emails. Some of the ideas in here were after you send them an email, sending them another, if you're sending them attachments and stuff, you can send them an email with nothing on it saying you're about to send them an email with attachments. You can send it a delivery request or read request. You can call them and make sure they got the email. But those are things that takes more time, and it increases your, having to do this stuff means you can do less bids if you're doing all this other stuff. And if the more you call and email these guys, the more you are of a pain that they think if they award the contract to you, you're going to be calling them and emailing them all the time. So some of the ideas weren't as good as others. The best thing to do is do the read and read request and delivery request. Don't put anything in the email that's going to get it blocked. The woman that I'm telling you about in particular had the link to the Better Business Bureau because she pays the BBB to give her an A+ rating. The government doesn't care about the BBE whatsoever, so that link to the BBB on her email did her a disservice. It got her email blocked. It was either that or she actually had a picture of her kids in the background, and that picture could look like an attachment or something. The government they don't want pictures. They want raw information. So just send them exactly what they're asking for, no more.
Perfect. Totally understand that.
Yeah. And you can try one trick that someone told me that works, and I've tried it, is when you ask them a question, put please reply received to this email so we know that you've received it. Thanks. Something that simple. Most of them will do it. If you're submitting questions for a Q&A, most likely that purchasing agent's not going to reply to you. They're going to take those questions, they're going to answer them, they're going to post them in f.b.o, and they're going to extend the due date. So you just sent over 10 questions, and you're not hearing back from the purchasing agent, but you need to know the answers in order to submit the bid. And the bid's due in 2 days, and you're starting to panic, and you're calling the purchasing agent back, emailing them back because they haven't answered you yet. And then the next day, they post all those answers on f.b.o, and they extend the due date out 2 more weeks. So you just called and emailed the purchasing agent another 4 or 5 times and panicked and had a bad day, and there was nothing wrong to begin with. The reason why they weren't following up with you is because they don't have to, and they were going to post the Q&A on the f.b.o eventually anyway, so you could see it. So if you've got a situation like that where you've emailed the purchasing agent and you haven't heard back from them yet, before you call them and email them another 6 times, check with me first, because it might just be that they're waiting to get all the questions so they could do a Q&A and extend the due date. I see that a lot. Any other questions? Anybody got a bid or proposal solicitation they want to work on today?
Hey, John, this is Mark Harness. How you doing?
Another day in paradise, always.
Well, I sent you an email earlier about some fireproof cabinets that I was looking at. And I guess my first question is, what's the difference between this f.b.o. Site that I was looking at, and it led me to this other one, FedBid?
f.b.o. is the primary government database that most contracts go through. If f.b.o. links you to another database, they're going to force you to submit that bid through that other database. Examples like that are FedBid, FedConnect, ASFI, NAVCO, NAVFAC, whatever it is, the Navy database. ASFI is the Army Surface to Engineer or something like that. If f.b.o. forces you to a secondary system to submit your bid, you're going to have to use that secondary system. If it's a military system, those are kind of cool because they force you to upload certain documents. Basically, it walks you through how to submit the bid and what you have to upload. And if you don't upload one piece, it won't let you do the next step. So it kind of forces you to do it correctly. If it's through FedBid or FedConnect, a lot of those are for commodities where you don't have to actually upload a whole lot of documentation. The main thing they want you to do is just log in and submit your bid. With FedBid and FedConnect, if your bid is accepted, that means it's the lowest. It's like a reverse eBay auction. If your bid is denied, that means someone else has already bid lower than you, and you can resubmit your bid in increments of $10 or $50 or $100. So FedConnect and FedBid, reverse auctions. They're beating you up for price. If your bid is submitted today and it's accepted and there's 3 days left on the bid, you need to check tomorrow because someone else might bid lower and beat you by $1. If it's ASFI or NAVCAC, NAVCO, ASFI's the Army, the Navy has one, the Air Force has one, the Marines have one. If it's those systems, they're not necessarily beating you up for price because they're not really an auction. They're just military systems that they use to gather your documentation for the quote.
I see.
Any other questions?
I'm not seeing the clauses and the other documentation on this FedBid. Is that normal, or do I just?
Yep. A lot of times you don't have to have all that stuff. They're just asking you for a quote.
Okay. Okay. Easy enough.
All right. Yeah. Sometimes they're real easy, especially through NAVFAC or ASFI or those, because they force you to submit the right bids in the right order.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Anybody else have a bid they want to work on today, or a question about a proposal, solicitation, or bid? Well, we got a few people in today. If nobody wants to work on a bid or has a bid to work on or has any questions, I'll go ahead and stop recording it and maybe give another 5-10 minutes to see if anybody else logs in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording so the file size